Good morning. I think I kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
I think I kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
Okay. It's got to be good for a laugh, isn't it? Audio confirmed. So I muted the microphone until I got all that other stuff muted. I'm drinking. I'm drinking today. Oh, you can't tell what this is. The label fell off. Yeah. That's your only clue there. What is Doug drinking? Oh, this is appropriate. You can't prohibit genius, it says. That's not going to focus very well because I have autofocus turned off. There's absolutely no clue what this is. I don't know how well that audio came over. I don't really want to drink it from a cup. I want to drink it from the bottle because I like drinking from the bottle. It's Henry Weinhardt's root beer. Chill out. Don't worry, be happy. Good morning. It is 11:01 a.m., June 24th, 2023. This is the Saturday edition. Live Windows Training with DougBetts. And guess who I am? The Zoom session is open. I'm going to go bring in the Zoom session because I was so delinquent last week with taking so long before they came in. So let's go. I'm going to fix some settings here because right now I'm not even hearing them. There, I'll hear them. Then they can hear me, and then I'll unmute them on the YouTube stream and bring them up on screen. Here they are. Hello, William Dawson. You're muted, William. Hello, William. Be sure you mute your YouTube.
This has switched to two screens.
Okay. Good morning.
Got lost for a minute.
How are you today?
Okay.
Do you have any topics to bring to the table?
No, but I'd like to hear about your topic 11.
Topic 11 you're interested in. That is unboxing my new internal capture card. All right, we'll see if we could get to that one. And Alex Cheat, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Or afternoon for me. I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Do you have any topics to bring to us?
No, sir. Just I would like 8 or 6 first. Whichever one you want, whichever one you get to first, I guess.
8 or 6 first. So 6 was the custom domain advanced DNS issues with Brian Lightfoot's domain name, and 8 was discuss client urgent service calls this week. Who else do we have just come in? Brian Lightfoot. Hello, sir. How are you? And I didn't hear you.
If I turn my mic on, you might be able to hear me.
Well, there you go. Funny how that works. I guess I don't need to ask if you have any topics to bring because one of your topics is on my list.
I want to hear all of them.
Oh, you do? Wow. Oh, I better get going. There's the brick wall. Ken the brick wall. That sounds like it must be the title of a song somewhere.
It's got to be Ken.
Brick house. Ken's in the brick house. Isn't that
Kenster?
another Kenster? Isn't that another brick house? Isn't that another name for a jail? Seems like.
Is your client issues, Doug, today going to take as long to explain as it did last week?
Depends upon how much detail I go into, and what I was planning to do to cover that is to actually bring up my timesheet for the week in front of my eyes, because I don't remember offhand what they were, but I recall on one of the Windows Daily shows, I think it was like on Wednesday, I said that it was my third or fourth emergency call that week. And then I think I had another one or two after that. And I'm wondering if I'm kind of, I was wondering if I was kind of misremembering it then, because I might have been remembering or counting some issues that had been rolled over from the previous week.
Well, wouldn't all of your calls basically be emergency calls from your clients? Because they're calling you not to say hello. They're calling you to say, our computers aren't working. Get over here.
No, that's not the case. Sometimes they call me to say they've hired a new employee. They need one of the computers reconfigured, a new email address. One of those topics, the one that talks about, let's see, why can I not get back to that here? Oh, I got to scroll down below the chat to see that. The one about advanced software techniques for my clients. So I had some interaction with one of my clients this week regarding a kind of an advanced Excel spreadsheet that I set up for them to help them figure out how much each of their law office partners are entitled to from they have like 5 different legal business entities with different partnership level agreements between them. So how does that all get calculated out? And I created this kind of it's an advanced spreadsheet to them, not to me, but anyway, it took hours off of their time every quarter to figure it out. So no, there's lots of things that are not emergencies. What I consider an emergency is when somebody calls me and their computer is not usable. They can't use it at all. And that is not a real common thing. So getting a few of those in a week is unusual.
That's what I get whenever I get a repair or something. The computer's not usable, but unlike you, Doug, it's not an emergency to them because 9 times out of 10, the repair requests I get or for computers that people have had sitting in a closet for 2 or 3 years and they're just now getting around to getting it to work again. It's not their primary main computer, which I wish it would be more times than not, so they'd be more likely to bring it to me fast and more likely to pick it up fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. And most of those are coming to you through your Facebook presence, right? And are you advertising that you will work on their computers for free over Facebook? I'll say that again. Are you?
No, I'm not, because I charge them because if they're having computer issues, it's most likely something that they can't get into it at all, and they need to bring it to me. And if they bring it to me, it's a charge. And since everybody on Ken Zoom at night has been beating me over the head about this, I'm going to start charging a deposit fee. So they're going to have to start paying me when they first drop the computer off, so they'd be more likely to come pick it up. Because I've had people leave computers with me before for 6 months and not.
Yeah, that's not good. All right. I'm going to go through the chat room for a little bit here. So please try to let me get through these. Tony Wallow, hello, Bobby Warren. Bobby Warren, let's see, there's some chit chat between people. Jonathan, Tim, Sal. Ken Stout's trying to come in again. He's having troubles. Jeff Ryman says, good morning. Rick Lakes, hello. There's Bobby again. People saying hello to each other. Here's Alex Cheek. It appears there are 2 streams for today, 11 a.m. and 11:30. Which one is correct? Well, we'll start with 11 a.m. The 11:30 a.m. is a scheduled crash of Big Beast Build. So a couple days ago, I had to, yesterday or day before, whenever, I had a stream crash, and I actually never wound up explaining to you. I don't think I wound up explaining to you what. Oh no, it wasn't a crash. I ended the stream because of Oh, no, stop that. Stop that sound. Stop that sound. Stop that sound. Stop that sound. Somebody's stop that sound. Why is that sound playing? Who's got? Yes, I can hear you, Ken. Do you have that? Do you have that YouTube thing playing in the background? No, it's not you. Who is it? Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I've got you guys blocked from YouTube. Oh, it's one of my, no, I've got that one muted. Where is that happening? I heard what's his name's song playing and I got dinged. Remember, I got dinged on that day when I did 2 live streams. I got dinged because that song played over the live stream that I attended to keep us monetized. So I was just here. How did that tab open up? But I had that speaker showing on this tab. Okay. What the heck is he talking about? I had a weird thing. Oh, I've got another YouTube screen over here. But I went all the way through that. Okay, so I'm going to unmute Zoom now. It wasn't Zoom's problem in the beginning. Ken's mother. Let's go say hello to Ken's mother before I go back through chat. Hello there.
Yep.
Hello, Ken's
Hello.
mom. Hi.
Hello.
I know.
Hello. Hello.
I know.
Oh, look at us. We're in the spotlight now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
You
you
gonna
are.
there to take over today?
Big, bright, and beautiful. All right.
I just was in here showing her some Da Vinci stuff since Greg's not around and your show started. So I thought we'll just pop in for a moment.
I hear it again.
So, and I was
hear it
having
again.
all
What's
kind
going
of
on?
issues with my system.
Stop. I hear it again. Where the heck is that coming from?
We don't hear
What's
it.
it sound like? Watch the fish tank. I'll be back.
All right. Thank you, Arnold.
Yeah, I got it.
Ay, caramba.
Off we go.
Okay, and I'm going to go over here and I'll
Get to see
mute,
what I do. You get to see who I hang out with every Saturday.
mute Ken's audio. Yeah, so here's what happened. Tony Wallow sent me a text message, and that's his ringtone on my phone, is that Bobby McFerrin song. That's where it was coming from. I don't think he knew that.
Sounds like you need to set his ringtone back to one of the default noises so you won't
I
get
do. I need it to not be a copyrighted music. You got that right. Wow.
None of us can help you with that.
What kind of coincidence is that I use Bobby McFerrin's "Don't Worry, Be Happy" song and on my trailer, and I had previously chosen that same song for Tony Wallow's ringtone. Can you does it make you think I like that song?
Yep.
Yes.
Doug, I have a random question for you.
All right, I need to get back to chat, but go ahead.
Have you ever had, just curious, this is the first time I've had this happen to me. Have you ever had somebody bring you a computer that was one of their family members that has passed away? I've got a girl that wanted to bring me her dad's computer that she can't get into, and he's passed away.
I have not had that happen for a Windows PC, but I did have a call from a woman whose husband passed away and she couldn't get into his, I think it was an iPad. It was an Apple account, and she had already been through Apple tech support, and a client of mine referred her to me, and I took a stab at it and couldn't get there. What I wanted to refer her to was iPad Rehab or Louis Rossmann. as the next possible step. I've never seen them even do that kind of work. But no, to your point, I have not had that. Okay. So I'm going to go back over here to chat. I wonder if I can already see what, I'm going to go check and see if there's already a ding for me, because when I realized where that sound was coming from, I realized it was coming from my pocket on my pants. That's where my phone was. I go over here to my channel, content, live. I don't think it would show up this soon.
I don't think your microphone picked it up, Doug, because
No
from what
one
I'm
heard it
seeing,
here.
no one else heard it.
I think that's likely because I currently have my microphone set on the heart shape pattern.
Cardioid.
And cardioid, yeah. And it's not supposed to pick up sound from the back. And Dennis Thompson has said that when I have the microphone set this way, he can't hear me on the keyboard. So yeah, I think you're right. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna catch it for that, but it freaked me out. Okay, where was I at in chat? Alex, Jonathan, and by the way, I have a redirect set up, so that if this stream does crash, it'll be redirected to the new stream that's currently scheduled for 11:30. But I can, even if Big Beast Builds crashes 11:45, I'll still be able to use that 11:30 scheduled stream. And if it happens before then, I'll be starting that other stream before 11:30. But I have my new capture card in. So let's see. I'm not sure if I've missed saying hello to anybody. Jeff asked for topics 6, 8, and 9. Get over to those here. 6, 8, and 9. Custom domain advanced issues, client urgent service calls, advanced software techniques for my clients. I think I might have already read those topics' interests. And then Jonathan says topic 5. Live initialization, basic config for Windows 11. So we've had, let's see, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11. Busy day. Rand Israel, hello. John Williams, Bobby Warren, William Dawson's. Alex Cheek is saying 6 first. He wants 6 first. He said that in person on Zoom, and he says that in the chat room. Do that one first. Interesting that he would want that one first. Well, he deals with a custom domain name. Oh, okay. Dennis, I think did a redirect to this live stream today. I'm guessing by this raid. I just did Fortnite Daily's premiere. Thank you, Dennis. Bobby Warren, I lowered my Spectrum bill a little bit and cut the TV and got Dish Network. Yeah, but how's your car insurance bill? Did you lower that with Spectrum? John Williams, number 11. Unboxing new internal capture card. Tony saying AV DVR good. Winter muted. Now, I actually turned off the ringer on my phone. So if Tony texts me again, I'm not going to hear it. I will fix that, Tony. Ida Rivera, we have audio 7, 9, 7, 11, and your opinion on this. Tom's Hardware News. Microsoft to remove multiple folder options from File Explorer.
What?
The folder settings that will no longer appear under folder options in File Explorer are as follows. Hide folder merge conflict. Always show icons, never thumbnails. Display file icon on thumbnails. Display file type information on folder tips. Hide protected operating system files. Show drive letters. Show pop-up description for folder and desktop items. Show encrypted and compressed NTF files in color. Use sharing wizard. folder settings that will no longer appear under File Options and File Explorer. Well, initial thoughts, sounds like another scratch your head. What were they thinking? But I'd want to read the detail first before really concluding that. My intention is, here's what I'll do, is no, I'm not going to give you my email address, Thomas. I'll go over here to Live Windows Training, Windows Daily. Oops, no, that's the wrong place to do it. I'll go here to the star to bookmark that and come down here to choose another folder, and I'll make a new folder for Monday. Monday is the 26th. New folder. Whoops, not there. Got to click on here. New folder 2023-06-26. So I'll be able to pull that up for Monday. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll talk about it on Monday, but I'll be reminded of it on Monday. 9711, those are topic numbers that have already been requested. Wintermute, Jonathan, Jeremy the Red. Hello there. Hard cider. No, it's not. Yeah, Henry Weinhardt's root beer. Rick Lakes, hello. John Williams says root beer. Now, this is just when the show is starting. Root beer. Hello, everyone. Mike Wojcik. Greg M. Ida, Rivera, Jonathan, root beer. Yes. Wintermute, Bobby Warren. Doug, I lowered my cable bill and got Dish Network on my TV's canceled. Man, I saw you tell people that several times yesterday in Carrie's show and mentioned it a couple times here. Okay, I get it. I understand. Message received. Black Serendipity, hello. Speedy C. Wow, look at that. Speedy C, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11.
I may be wrong, but I would think that Dish Network would be more expensive than the actual cable service, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So the only one he added there was 3, virtual memory helping or hindering Big Beast build. I've had this a few weeks. I think that's the first request for that. That actually won't take very long to tell what my question is there. Maybe it's something you guys might be interested in researching, because I'm not going to take the time to research it. But it's a curious question. Eileen Novak, hello. Good to see you, Eileen. Bobby Warren, Jonathan. Whoops, it just jumped on me. Where did it go? There. No, that's not her first. Here, that's not her first. Heard it earlier. I usually, oh yeah, that's, way up there. Good grief. Jeremy the Red. Hi there from Jeremy from Massachusetts here. Sent from Carrie's referral. Hope all is well today. I thought I recognized your name, Jeremy the Red. I'll turn you blue. So welcome. Glad to see you. Hello, all. Number 7, Bronc 9. Hello. Oh, no, that's Jonathan saying hello to Bronc 9. Speedy C. Jonathan the Bronc. Black Serendipity. Well, there goes that. LOL. Selden Ball. And people's idea here. I'm kind of scanning what was being said here without reading it closely. Alice. Hello from Holland. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Don't believe I've seen you before here. The Ghost in His Machines. I do not hear anything on YouTube. If there's, let's see. That's all about that stuff coming from my phone. Jim is catching up in DVR. Robert says, hey, Mom. Oh, Ken's mom. People saying hello to Ken's mom. We hear nothing on YouTube. Yeah, don't hear it. Don't hear it. Skip through all of that. Hearing things. Great acting. Doug knew exactly what was going on. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you've been watching Ken's stream lately, Doug, we've been talking about Brian's Blue Yeti issues. So instead of folder and search options being removed from Windows 10, I'm surprised we're not talking about how the Blue Yeti ain't going to work with Windows 11.
Oh, you know what? I have been not really watching Ken's show, but I typically have it on in the background and sometimes get distracted from it. But no, I didn't catch that at all.
But you know what's funny is Josh has a Blue Yeti at his aunt's house, and both of the computers at his aunt's house are running with a Blue Yeti.
What do you think this is?
A Blue Yeti.
Yes.
I know that's what that is. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I'm bringing this up. That's the reason why
okay.
I'm letting you know.
Okay.
To warn you that it may not work with Windows 11.
Oh, well, that's curious.
Based on Brian's experience.
All right. So, Brian, is that a thing? Are you having trouble with Blue Yeti on Windows 11?
No longer.
No longer. All right.
Because I don't no longer have a Blue Yeti.
Oh, all right.
It went back.
It went back. Hey, did you just acquire it and return it?
It would not appear in Device Manager. Windows knew nothing about a Blue Yeti being installed. And after multiple Googling, I'm not the only person that had the problem. So I think even last night when Alex brought it up for the 18th time, there may be a difference whether the Windows 11 was an update from 10 or a clean install on Windows 11.
All right.
We know it works on Windows 10, but whether it works on a clean install of Windows 11 may be questionable. The other thing is I have 3 other microphone sources in Device Manager, and that seemed to be a problem with Blue Yeti wanting to be the only source in order to be recognized by Device Manager. I don't know why, but the thing is, when you look at the paperwork that comes with the Blue Yeti, the latest update says compatible with Windows 8.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen that kind of thing. I kind of attribute that to the same thing that Carrie has mentioned a number of times about the manufacturers on their when they're selling products on Amazon, just do copy and paste and they don't update their records. And I've seen other things that I've Googled for solutions for and found system requirements, and they would say Windows 7 and 8 when they're still current products. So I don't worry too much about that. Okay, I'm going to try to keep going quickly through these chat rooms. Ida, Eileen, mystery solved. I'm not sure what that mystery was back there. Heard, the sound that I was hearing. Yeah. Doing it, Doug. Confused. Second stream scheduled. Yes. And he knows what that is by now. If it's Windows PC, then it's possible. Lawn Dog, I haven't had to unlock a computer from somebody who's passed away, but it's more common for somebody to dig out a computer out of a closet and not remember the password. I'm assuming you left out the word not there. Brian to Jim, Doug's schedule in case of crash. Yeah, works pretty well. I'm kind of scanning through these. Eileen did hear, but was muffled. Greg says, don't worry, be happy. Chris Garrett, yeah, Jonathan, Lawn Dog, careful, that could be copyrighted phrase, even if it's in print. Are you saying the phrase of just saying the name of the song? I doubt that for me to pronounce it. John Williams says, I had a customer that passed and they could not get into the computer. Well, yeah, if they passed away, it'd be difficult for them to get into the computer for sure. And it also had, you have to be physically present, and it also had a password on the BIOS, but I got all the passwords. It was a Lenovo desktop. You can reset a password on BIOS typically with a jumper on the motherboard. Then if somebody wants to be secured against that, well, you need to physically secure the computer. So that can't be done. I had a customer that passed.
You could always just take the battery out.
Yeah, that would do it too. I had a customer that passed away that could not get into the computer, and it also had a password on the BIOS, but I got all the passwords. It was the Lenovo desktop. Ida's asking for topics 8 and 9, and Mike is 8 and 11. I've been in chat since 11:30 a.m., just lurking and watching. Ken Stout asking for 10. Curious what one he considers worth talking about. If you prefer, troublemaker.
I'm just concerned of what the other technician has it now has been doing with it or try to do with it, because supposedly this woman that wants me to work on it has given it to another technician, and another technician has it as we speak.
Okay, Alex, are you going to let me go through this, or do I need to mute you? You keep trying to pull me back to what you want to talk about. Huh? Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your permission. This network. Eileen says, hi, Doug. Got that spell correction. As soon as fiber optic is ran here, maybe I can ditch Dish Network. Rick Lakes, Ken Stout. Lawn Dog, I would be surprised if the Blue Yeti did not work with Windows 11. Someone would probably have to mess with a software sound with Windows interface. I doubt they did anything like that. Brian's pretty sharp. I suspect he went through a lot of hoops trying to get that to work. Dennis said, what?
That's the whole fact, Doug. I did not want to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. I wanted to plug it in, have it appear in Device Manager, and if it didn't, send it back.
All right, that's fair. Since it's a new purchase, that's totally fair. And when you saw the confirmation that other people are having trouble, don't even bother with it. I'm almost caught up. I'll come back to you in a minute, Jim. Let's see. Dennis says he'll buy a Yeti and let me know if it works in Windows 11. Popular microphone, Yeti currently $100 at Amazon. I won't be getting it at that price. In fact, a lot of the stuff is more expensive. Amazon probably getting ready for Prime Day. And that sounds like I think I paid over that for mine. And I think they've come down over the years. Some BIOS passwords are written to firmware and needs unlock code from manufacturer. Okay, interesting. I did not know that. I wouldn't argue it at all because I don't do a lot of that. John Williams, this Lenovo had dual BIOS, so I had to pull 2 jumpers. I have dealt with dual BIOS before. Not a lot. Okay, let's come over here and say hello to a couple other peoples. Jim, hello. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
All right. Any topics to bring to the table?
No, but I will repeat something I said on Ken's stream. Well, actually, I think it was after stream. Alex has the absolute right to remain silent. He just lacks the ability to do so.
All right.
He's correct. 100%. I have to agree with that.
Well, it's nice that you acknowledge that, Alex. And I don't think you take offense when I have to come and correct you and say, hold off, wait your turn. Okay, Gary Weisenberger, hello to you, sir. How are you today?
I am doing fine. I
have
one for Alex because he's the speed check champ. I was selling a house in Tampa Thursday morning, went out fishing in the Gulf of Mexico, about 18 miles west of Tampa, and I was getting 200 meg down for a speed test.
Okay, 200 megabits download speed, house in Tampa.
No, in Tampa Bay, about
Tampa
18
Bay.
miles, 18 miles in the Gulf.
Okay.
Starlink Maritime.
Okay. Maybe I missed a piece of what you said there because I had a slight distraction. But why are you reporting that?
Where Alex, he always speed tests his TV.
That's pretty good for Starlink.
Oh, okay, that's what I missed. I missed that it was Starlink.
In the water.
In the water, yeah. My nephew in New Mexico has Starlink for his home. He it got shipped to him, and he set it up a few weeks ago, and he's getting far lower numbers than that. I had at one point made a note of what he was getting, but I want to guess it was something like 30 down and 6, 7, 8 up, something like that.
Maritime, first of all, is a lot less crowded and it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, yes, we're absolutely on the expense part. And he is in a very rural area, so we were speculating that he should be pretty good. So it's plenty speed for his usage, for his purposes. And
what did he have without it?
Before that, what did he have out in his rural area? Gosh, now that you ask that, I don't know what he was. He couldn't have, I don't think he was using cellular. He was participating in our Zoom sessions on Friday evenings. I'm trying to think of whether it was through a cable service or a phone. So I'm guessing it might have been DSL through the phone service. I'll try to remember to ask him that, because that is worth knowing. I do remember that we had discussed it a few times amongst the brothers and him as a nephew, and wound up concluding that Starlink sounded really like a good prospect for him. All right, so let's go to a topic. Part of me wants to see if anybody seconds Alex's request for his topic to be first. Well done.
I don't care.
Oh, you don't
anyway.
Brian is the topic that Alex was asking for about the DNS issues. So I made some comments, I think it was on yesterday's Windows Daily, about how I think you can fix that DMARC. Did you do any work with that, Brian? You sent me an email. That's right.
Yeah. On yesterday's show, you said if Brian would scroll down a little lower on his control panel, he would probably find something there. Well, no. There's only that one link on email of it. Deliverability. When you click on that, you were showing the screen where it lists DKIM, SPF, and one other little pointer. But in little teeny print up in the upper hand corner, it says manage DNS zones.
Yes.
Now, that was the key word. To change your DNS records means you need to go to the DNS zones. Well, that was a new one on me. So you click on DNS zones, I get in there, and there's where I can add the DMARC record. In other words, I have a firing solution.
You have a firing solution?
If I were a submarine, that's what I would say if I want to kill the enemy. I have a solution at hand, Doug.
Okay. Have you implemented it yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So I'm looking at this email that you sent me yesterday. I don't see any privacy issues there. Do you agree? Can I show this email?
You can agree. Any privacy issues have been blacked out or cut out.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. You have some redacted stuff. And for those who don't know, I did have to do I had to end my stream yesterday because I accidentally revealed something of personal information of Brian's without realizing it was there. And I think I'm going to start when I'm inviting people to send me emails. I think I'm going to, at least on occasion, include the thing. Don't include. I tell them I'm probably going to display the email. So if you put anything private in there, send me another email saying don't display this, please. And then
sure, it was my fault.
Yeah, well, no, it's not your fault. It's to your credit that I have been corrected on how to be a good host. I'll say that. Yeah, he says, yes, I saw it on yesterday's stream, and Gary figured out what it was. I know. We won't talk about what it was, although nobody can go back and find that because that's a private video. Now, I was thinking, why is he showing that? But you quickly jump to the document. Don't worry, no harm, no foul. Thank you for your understanding. I did want to reiterate the following points from the long document. So this one is worth going through these because this kind of summarizes what he's been going through. He was on a blacklist. Some emails that he would send would get blocked from the recipients. And I think that's what started this whole investigation that's lasted over a period of months. Is that right, Brian? Months?
Yeah, maybe a
Working on
month or two at the most.
Seems like it was like 2 or 3 months ago that you were actually on the show with me on this issue. The diagnosis of my blacklist problem at the time was that the hosting company somehow deleted the DKIM and SPIF records. Without those records present, my emails is what resulted in the IP of the hosting mail server being blacklisted. I take a little bit of issue with that because I have seen routinely custom domains not having these records present. So you were saying, Brian, that you think that the hosting company deleted them. I'm inclined to think that they were never there, because when you create a custom domain, I think that's all left up to the person who's creating the custom domain to create DKIM, SPIF, and DMARC records.
Possibly.
Okay. Now I have also, I've had the experience, which you similarly had, where I call the company that's hosting and they will configure the records or contact them somehow. I also wanted to emphasize that just one phone call to the right support person had them recreate the records with no effort by me. And yeah, I think it was probably their first time creating those records, but we don't know that. Not worried about that piece of it. I also wanted to point out that MX Toolbox still shows that I have no DMARC record, but the email works just fine. The DMARC record, as I understand it, is part of the authentication so that organizations or email servers that have very high security configurations might be flagging your emails as suspect. I routinely see that custom domain names are functioning just fine without any of these being configured. But I've had clients who call me and say there's some vendor or customer of theirs reporting that they're not receiving emails, and I've discovered this is the reason. Then we go configure those settings. It would be a good and healthy thing for me to just learn these so well that I can routinely do those on any custom domains. I have not yet taken the effort to do that, but I think Brian is kind of helping me get there. And just for comparative purposes, MX Toolbox indicates Live Windows Training also has no DMARC records, so I'm questioning the need for DMARC records. Well, I think I'm not sure that I have DKIM and SPIF records on my LiveWindowsTraining.com or my DougBetts.com. They might be there. I don't recall offhand. Shown below are screen captures from my control panel. I'd love to show all of this live on the Zoom session, but just too much private information is shown on multiple screens. So I'll just capture the following screens and black out whatever is necessary. I did the option to modify domains zone files, which opens a page entitled DNS Zone Editor. My options are to add record, add CNAME, which was common name. I've also seen it referred to as canonical name, and MX record, which is for the mail service, or manage. If I click manage, the page looks like this. So here's where it gets into this button of adding a record. DMARC and DKIM and SPIF are all text records. So this is more informative on HostGator than what I've seen on other advanced DNS configuration screens. I've never seen add a DMARC record. You just can add a text record, and then you put in the correct values as the text record, which includes identifying itself as a DMARC record, or as a SPIF record, or as a DKIM record. These are other records on his panel. Let's see here. On this page, I filtered to only show the text records which appear in the image above. I blacked out certain areas for security purposes. Notice the option on the right side to add a record, which brings up the drop-down menu, which now shows the option add DMARC record. And
For the record, I don't have any of those either that you're referring to on mine.
yeah,
And my email somewhat works. I say somewhat because depending on the server that I'm trying to send email to, it will either not work at all. Tell me, resend something back and tell me that it couldn't send, or it will send it to the recipient's junk folder. So I've just completely given up on getting email to work on my dad's domain.
okay. Well, swallowed wrong. On your dad's custom domain, you haven't found the place to do this. Now, I've seen on different DNS management screens, this is a completely wow.
Muted.
Thank you. Unmuted now. Yeah, so what I said there is that the way this screen shows up is different on every different
Yes.
DNS management system. So Alex isn't seeing it laid out.
I know where the settings are for this stuff. I just don't know how to get it configured right so that Google won't complain when I try to send or when I.
Yeah.
I thought HostGator is making it pretty simple. When you click on that, add a DMARC record, it brings up all of the parameters with some default selections on there. And that's as far as I've gotten. I didn't want to.
But you got to remember, my domain setup is complicated because I'm complicated.
Okay. Your domain setup is complicated because you're complicated. So I think you're just teasing on yourself, right?
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, my hosting company, if I have an issue, they won't help me with any software configurations or anything whatsoever, because all the software that runs all the stuff that you're talking about, like the DNS stuff and the HostGator stuff, or Brian's, is all the stuff that runs this stuff on my dad's website is controlled by me because I installed the software to make it all work. So I don't have anybody to fall back on.
Do you have your own mail server, your own web server?
Yes.
Oh,
I do, but the software, the back-end software that runs it is software that I installed myself. That the hosting provider has nothing to do with.
All right. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you would be expected to know how to do this stuff, and they're not going to help you with it. That makes sense. Let's look over these choices on Brian's screen because, yeah, this is kind of slick that you can just select on these. Subdomain policy, my understanding of that is it's an instruction that your domain is providing to the recipient domains as to whether they should quarantine mail received that doesn't meet the parameters specified here, or whether you're instructing them that they should reject it. Now, this is, keep in mind, I'm not an expert on this. This is my understanding of these things up to this point. DKIM mode, relaxed or strict, is a similar thing where they relaxed, as I understand it, would mean that they would flag that email as being suspect spam or suspect malware, harmful, or strict is saying block it. SPF mode is similar idea. As I'm getting more and more familiar with this, my understanding is DKIM and SPIF and DMARC are different ways to accomplish identifying an email as being valid and acceptable or not. So you could in a very strict environment, require that an email passes all three of these methods. Now, this is all under DMARC. So this is all optional parameters for DMARC that includes settings regarding SPIF and DKIM, which that kind of surprised me.
I was surprised to see that in there too. And
yeah.
And Doug, I think what I'm going to do is after this, I'm just going to click on the defaults and I'm going to take a look at the text file just to see what that does, especially with the DKIM and the SPF. I think I know what it does, but it's a text file that now I know how to change.
All right. Percentage, I don't know what that's doing. Generate failure reports when checks fail or any checks, all checks fail or any checks fail. Report format, I guess that's different layouts as to how the report would come and how often does a report come. I don't know whether those are minutes or seconds or what.
Those are seconds.
They are seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
But then send aggregate mail reports, and you could put in your own email address so that reports would be sent to you so that you can see what's happening, and send failure reports. So aggregate reports sounds like they would be sent based upon this time setting, and failure reports would be sent when failures are encountered, perhaps. Then I also noticed this DMARC versus raw. It looks to me like if you click on this tab choice for raw, perhaps that choice would just have place for you to enter the text record without having these button clicks for what kind of record it's going to be. This field over here, you selected text. If you do this drop-down message, this drop-down window here, I suspect that you would have other types of records that you could be creating. And when you have this selected on a different type of record, such as an MX record or an A record, you would have different selections over here on the right side. So this is all a very nice menu-driven way to create advanced DNS records. I want to get to, hang on a moment, that detail of a rejected email sample that you gave, because that looked like a legitimate rejection. Was that one included here somewhere? Is that one that I can show?
No, that was in the previous one. That was just showing what a spam message looks like, or maybe you were looking at the reject.
Well, I want to be sure that, because it looked to me like I saw a message in there that looked like it was a legitimate spam message. And I was wondering, were you thinking that that was a legitimate message that shouldn't have been flagged?
I just put it in.
Okay.
It shows how they figured up the value of how they to determine if it's a spam. This was a message that had Viagra, buy Viagra and all that kind of stuff. And that's 5 points, and 5 points for this, 5 points for that. And that message had a point value of 30 points. And so therefore it was declared spam.
Yeah. And all you had to have was over 5 points. I think it was a much lower value. And yeah, when your wording of when you said that it was, this message has 30 points and it's far exceeded the 5 points. And that's where I got the impression that you were surprised at that, or thought that that was, shouldn't have been the case. Though that was okay. So then we don't need to go there. Which is probably okay at this point, because we could move on to another topic. We'll probably put some people to sleep by now. Do you think? Okay. Did I finish enough of this? Yeah, I think I did.
Yep. We're done.
Now, Alex, you requested that we go through this. Did this achieve anything for you?
No, I wasn't expecting it to. I was just, I was just curious.
Well, then, go ahead and continue if you weren't done.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Let me just bring up a couple of things here, just to show. When I made the comment that these screens, the presentations are very different on different DNS services, I think I can pretty quickly show a couple of other ways that advanced DNS records are displayed and show what mine are set to.
Be careful what you show.
Yeah, I'm always nervous about that, huh? But the only thing I think that could be remotely be of concern would be that private key, but it doesn't display in full until you click to display it in full. So I don't feel too worried about that. Then let's see, this gets me network solutions, manage DougBetts. Okay. Since I'm showing my own stuff here, I'm willing to live a little more dangerously than what I want to risk guests to this show. And do this one. So I'm trying to open network solutions and Google domains. Okay, here. So here all I've done with network solutions is I've signed into my account, and this is the screen that it takes me to. And then here's manage.dougbets.com. And then, and I don't know this well enough to tell somebody by memory what to click on. Advanced tools down here, manage your name servers, advanced DNS records, set up website forwarding, and yada, yada. Then come down here, name servers. So this shows my name servers. And then here's add premium DNS. No, here's advanced DNS records and a manage button. So if I want to change my DNS servers, such as I'm going to move my domain DNS from Network Solutions to Google, then that could involve me going into here. But I think Google's able to handle it all from its side. But here's advanced DNS records. Only advanced users should make updates. And changes made to the settings may cause you to lose your existing email and websites. And I oftentimes will not check this type of a box because I don't come in here frequently enough that I need to not show that for efficiency purpose. So I want to be reminded. So here's my advanced DNS records. Here's my A records. There's some under construction pages because I'm not doing anything with the DougBetts.com website. There's the CNAME, the A CNAME entry, which is for auto discover. And then here's some MX records, all pointing to Google Mail because Google hosts my email. And then this is advanced DNS records. So
where's the text records?
Yeah, I don't see any text records. Do I not have any text records? That's possible. Yeah, see here I can add a text record. And here's that place where I said I think I could paste in the parameters for a text record, but your system, yeah.
I like HostGator.
Yeah, HostGator just lets you click on checkboxes. I don't get that here through Network Solutions. Well, Network Solutions was the only place to go for a custom domain name when I created my DougBetts.com. Network Solutions, as I understand, started out as the only place you could get a custom domain name in the world. And they've been frustrating to deal with over the years because I had some clients set up on them too, and they just did not step up to the new ways emails were handled through the years. So I've taken my clients away from them for the most part, not entirely. So there's nothing much here to deal with, but this is their interface. It's the most naked, unhelpful kind of interface. Greg M says, I used Network Solutions at the turn of the century and ditched them due to costs. Wow, Network Solutions, that brings up memories from 2 decades ago. Yeah, I'm looking over at chat on the other screen.
No.
All right.
Ken, you've got a menu item in the upper right-hand corner that says Classic View. I'd suggest you take it off screen before you click on that.
Yeah, but it looks to me like Classic View is going to take me to the older way of doing it. Because this is the new and improved method, right? All right, so I've taken it off screen and we'll see what that does. Yeah, this kind of looks familiar, and it looks like it's okay. Update advanced DNS, there's a very different kind of layout. So here's A records. Well, and there's something I kind of like about this is it kind of categorizes the different type of records, puts all the MX records here together, CNAME records here, text records. See, yeah, here again, no, there are no text records.
Yeah.
Here's NS records and SRV records. So this confirms that there are no other records. This is the auto discover record. Did we see that on the?
Yes, that was there.
Yeah, that was
there. That was a server record.
Yeah. So, and actually I was expecting to see something more like this when we went into it. I was expecting to see something that breaks them into different categories like this, which is not what we saw. If I go back, I don't see anything here to click to go to the new method. So I'll just try the browser back arrow. Yeah, that goes to here and it just shows all these records together. So that's the difference between their old method and their new method. Now I'll come over to my Google domains and see what we get here. Now, I think I said this incorrectly the other day. Domains with Google Workspace sounds to me like they're saying that these domains are managed on Google Workspace, but it has a link here to manage it with Google Workspace. We just saw that DougBetts.com is DNS is managed on Network Solutions, but these, I believe, are managed here. Now, I did, let's see, August 18th is when I registered Live Windows Training, and then when I wound up changing the URL in YouTube to the acronym LWTDB, because it's easier for people to get to that on YouTube, I figured, well, maybe I should have that available for a website and email too. And so I created that and haven't done anything with it. And that was in December. So if I go here to manage, yeah, they let me use other domain endings, LiveWindowsTraining.net. No, thank you. Impressions, clicks, average position. There is a website at LiveWindowsTraining.com, but I set that up over a couple weekends years ago. So it's got some obsolete stuff there.
Doug, I don't know if you caught my previous comment in both that long document and yesterday's email, but I used MX Toolbox once again to look at LWT, and I'm pretty sure you had a DKIM record and an SPF record, but I was surprised to see, just like my domain, you do not have DMARC records. Mm-hmm. And what was really surprising about that is LWT is on a Google server, and after all this blow up that we heard from Theo Joe when they got hacked, you still don't have DMARC records on a Google server. What is Google doing? I thought they would enforce that.
No, I wouldn't expect them to, because if you have a custom domain name, you should be responsible for managing your custom domain name. I think somebody who has a gmail.com address, Google should be managing that. But people who have custom domains and they just pay Google to host whatever they put there,
you're on your own.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's, if you do a custom domain, you're supposed to and expected to know what you're doing, or go figure it out.
They don't tell you that when they sign you up.
but if you contact them, if you reach out to them, well, some services, I don't know about Google, they will provide you the information to enter or provide you instructions how to do it. But I think the responsibility is on the owner of the domain. Yeah, I want to get to, whoops, hit the right button, Doug. Where do I get to the advanced? Oh, here's DNS on the left side. So I don't think I see anything in here for it. Add an MX record to choose which mail server adds your email service. This might be that just might be instructions or information. But it looks to me like the place for us to go is over here on the left side, DNS. And then here's a bunch of records. So there's an A record, there's a text record, Google site verification. So I think maybe that is for validating my website. And then there's calendar, docs, drive, groups, all these different services that Google provides. There's CNAMEs for each of those. And those are on this googlehosted.com. Google Workspace down here, Live Windows Training, MX, SPF, and 2 more. So I'll roll this open. There's an MX record and SPF. So here's that syntax that Brian came across. And oh, this one is actually a type of SPF. It's not a type of TXT. All right, well, I stand corrected on that. I thought the SPIF, DKIM, and DMARC were all text records, but this one is actually referred to as a SPF record.
Yep.
That seems strange to me because it still uses a SYNT. Well, now wait a minute. Here's another one. This one down here is an SPF1 as a text record. This is an SPF1 as an SPF record, and that's identical. Those two records are identical. So I'm wondering if Google's somehow adding that as a record type and it's just duplicated. I don't know. Google domain key. Yeah, so that's a DKIM record. Okay, I don't see anybody in Zoom laughing, so they didn't understand that. Were you laughing, Brian, at what I did without saying what I did?
If you remember from day one, I said, I have no idea what all these acronyms mean. And the inquisitive Brian wants to find out what all this means before I go a step further with you. That goes all the way back to December. DKIM, SPF, DMARC, everything new to me.
All right, I'm going to see what I can do here with this to fix things up a little bit.
The only SPF I'm familiar with is sunscreen.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing on here. Required informational records only is down here. DNSSEC for domain name system security extensions. So if I roll this one open, I see some more records in here. And down here, I think I see some more records. So really the only thing that I was coming into here to do was to show the different ways that advanced DNS setting screens are set up from one DNS service to another. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go on and see what's going on with chat room and move the show along.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm happy to move along.
Yeah. I have no idea where I was at in chat, so I'm going to be focusing on oranges, and I think I'd seen that. That's 1103. So now I'm just going to be rolling down for oranges and emojis. Hello, original mystery solved. Let's see, we did see that one. We saw that one. Eileen Novak saying hi with an emote. The two jumpers. Oh, that's still highlighted. Oops, it's jumped on me. Yeah, here. So kind of scanning through. Oh, the Yeti microphone Windows 11 may be a possible fix on a YouTube video. So that's 2 minutes long on Windows Report. And it's broken up into different segments here. Control right arrow goes through to the next segment up. So what they say, set Blue Yeti as a default device, update the Blue Yeti driver, run the audio troubleshooter, check microphone settings. And so something along those lines. Okay. I'll keep that open. I've not reviewed the video course, kind of dilutes quick search. So Lawn Dog saying he hasn't watched that. Skipping through, Wintermute gives duocircle.com. I have no idea what that is for. Guide to setting up DMARC and enable DKIM on HostGator. So that might provide more information. If I think, Brian, you're probably at a point where you can go put in what you think is right and see how it goes.
Yeah, but that's a nice source. Thank you, Wintermute. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah. And you always know you can go back and change it. There's nothing you're going to do there that's going to prevent you from going back into those screens and reverting them back to how they were.
Now that I know how.
Yeah. Maybe you want to take screenshots or take cell phone photos of some things before you change them, but you're just adding new records. That's probably not going to be difficult to know how to undo that. Skipping through some things. Goes back to Google and they're authenticated, aka blue checkmark in Gmails. Gmail's not following the rules, DMARC, DKIM, etc. Wintermute says in strict mode, the domain must match exactly to pass alignment. In relaxed mode, the receiver will treat subdomains as equal. Okay, that's the difference in that relaxed versus strict. Domain must, so if you're using subdomains, you would want it to be relaxed. I will be going back and looking at these after the show, sometime after the show. Spam filtering, yeah. Wow, networks, network solutions. What do we got here? Yep, some more stuff on that same topic. Cloudflare has a good explanation from Greg M. Again, none of these records are required. They are optional. Yes, they may be required if somebody that you care about sending email to is not getting your emails, because they might have a more secure server configuration. And over recent years, the internet at large has been getting more and more security conscious.
Absolutely.
Recollect that HTTP is no longer considered safe, when that used to be what everyone had. Now we need HTTPS, and if you want to go to a site that's HTTP only, sometimes you have to jump through extra hoops to make that happen, depending upon how you have the default security set in your browser. John Aloy, hello, and everyone. It's been quite a while since I was here. I thought I would stop by for a while. Good to see you. I'd certainly recognize your name, John Aloy, and I see your name a lot on Carrie's shows. Nice to see you. And Brian saying DKIM and SPF records are becoming required through most MX servers. In my case, they are absolutely required. DMARC seems to be optional for the time being. Speedy C, Doug, this channel never puts me to sleep, LOL. I'm not trying hard enough then. This channel is so informative to me. I always look forward to your show. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And Speedy C is frequently joining us on the Fortnite channel. Greg M. To Brian, I have about 6 domains. None of them are using DKIM and SPF. I implemented them for a business client to reduce spoofing, etc. Now, I have a client who just seems to often fall the victim of spammers sending out email claiming to be from him. And I actually, well, all right, that's not a good example because I think I fixed his problem a long time ago. He used to be using, when I first started working with him, somebody else had set him up to be using remote desktop to connect to his computer from a remote location through the internet. And he had port forwarding set up on his router to get through to his computer, and he had a static IP address, and the bad guys would find their way in. So I just took him off of that and put him on Log Me In, and bada boom, bada bing, Bob's your uncle, and he's no longer has trouble. But the law office that I frequently talk about, we had problems with them, and I mentioned this before, where they had five static IP addresses. That's not 5, Doug. This is 5. 5 static IP addresses, and they occasionally, and we would only be using one. We'd have the router set up on a single IP address. We didn't need 5. That's just what the internet service came with. But they would occasionally get blacklisted, and I would track that down and find that somebody else was sending out email or doing something claiming to be their IP address. And I would just switch their router to a different IP address, and that solved that. Now, I think if I would have configured DKIM and SPIF and DMARC for their domain name, that probably would have solved the problem also. I'm going to continue here a little bit on chat because I'm almost done. Tony Wallow, let's see, who hosts domains? Yeah, so I'm caught up there unless this screen at 12:11 is not current. How can I make it get current? I think if I switch to live chat. Nope, 12:11, is that current? Well, I don't have timestamps on the other screen, that's why I don't know. Turn on timestamps on the other screen. Oh, that is all of it. All right. So I heard the doorbell. Who came in?
Sean.
Oh, Sean Gallagher. Hello, Sean. How are you today?
Good. It's my birthday, so I'm just stopping in for a little bit.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should go to Chuck E. Cheese and have them do balloons and sing happy birthday to you or something like that, or maybe TGIF and have the waitresses come over and sing happy birthday. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think if you go into a restaurant and call Ken Stout on the phone, he'll sing happy birthday to you over the phone so that everybody in the restaurant can hear it. All right.
$9.99, Sean. Just remember that's my charge.
All right, let's see, 12:17. So let's move on to another topic. Which topic shall it be? Go ahead and ask for your topics.
Number
10. Ken says 10. All right. That was the first one that jumped in with a number, so I'll go look at that. Oh, is that your being Ken-like again? Let's see, 10. Yeah, if you prefer, you can email topics requests. What do you think, Alex? Do I send Ken to the waiting room?
Go ahead. I don't care. He deserves it.
You know paybacks are gonna suck tonight on his stream. You know that, right? You send him to the waiting room on Doug's stream. Wait, he's gonna
just so he knows, I will be late to tonight's stream because I got a concert to go to tonight.
Oh, since you're passing information regarding Ken's show, I have heard Ken ask the participants in Zoom, what did Doug do on his show today? And you've got absolutely nothing to say. And what are you expecting them to say, Ken? I was kind of thinking, should I give them cliff notes at the end of my show and say, okay, you can tell Ken that we talked about this and this.
I should be able to start watching again Monday.
All right.
So.
Yeah, I I was still checking to see if you had a daily DaVinci if I had taken a moment to realize. I knew that you weren't doing that because you had your mother there this week. And I knew your show times would be different. Okay, so Tim Sal in chat asked for me to do the unboxing of this, and that should be a fairly quick thing to do. Now, interesting thing, I had to order it twice before I actually got it. And the one that I ordered first has still not arrived. So the first one that I ordered got delayed and delayed and delayed. And they said, if it doesn't come by tomorrow, you can cancel it and reorder. Well, what I did is I reordered without canceling first. So I have the potential of getting another one coming in, except that I need to cancel the first order. So let's see, here's the order. This one I ordered on June 23rd, which was, no, that was delivered on June 23rd. The order was placed on June 22nd. So it was 1-day delivery. All right, but this other order that's still in here, and I will cancel it live, unscripted, unrehearsed. And here's this one ordered June 17th. There was a time when I told you on the show that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and order it. And I think it was that same day that I actually placed the order. This one still says running late. All right, so cancel this delivery. I could have canceled this one first, but I figured, no, I'll leave both open until I get one. Cancel and get a refund. All right.
Are you sure you want to put your address up there on the internet?
No, but I'm sure I don't want you to point that out to everybody.
Of course, you know what's going to happen once you cancel the first one. You're going to get it anyways.
Well, I'll just return it.
I'm sorry. I was just looking out for your privacy and your safety. That's all, Doug.
By pointing it out.
Trying to put it out there. I was just trying to help you. You know.
Everybody reverse your screen and look at it now, Sean. Thank you.
You can always do a carry and give the first one to Ken.
Give the first one to Ken? What?
If you receive the first one, you can always give the first one to Ken.
Oh, yeah, because he needs an internal capture card. And I'm okay with being charged for that. No. Sean. All right, moving on. Oh. And I did realize that before you said it. Yeah. So what I have to do to fix that is I got to go back and edit this live stream through YouTube's editing capability. That means we're going to lose the chat room. So the only chat room that people are going to be able to see is what I display on screen. And it takes a really long time for it to process that. So thank you, Sean. All right, unboxing.
Don't cut yourself.
I guess I got to show this up because you realize that I was dealing with a sharp instrument, a pocket knife, and I'm not to be trusted.
A baby pocket knife.
I'm going to be laughing about that all day. Keep in mind, Sean, I'm going to be laughing about it. I'm not upset.
I was just looking out for your privacy. That's all. I didn't mean to, announce it to the world, but
You didn't mean to announce it by the world. You just wanted to say it on the YouTube live stream. Okay, I get it.
Where was he with the other one the other day?
Oh yeah. All right.
Well, thank goodness it's not a mini PC, because I'm getting tired of watching them.
Oh, well, I have one right here. Some people want me to set it up. That's one of my topics. I'm trying to not do a bunch of crinkling with this.
John, you just gave me the idea for a YouTube video, in your honor.
Okay. Here's what it looks like. On this side, we have it. This is a dual 2 capture card. So why are there 3 HDMI ports? The answer is on the wording on it, the labeling on it, and it says HDMI in 2, HDMI in 1, and HDMI, what does that say? Out 1, and it's a pass-through, so that you could have an HDMI cable coming in to the capture card, and you could have, I don't know if maybe it lets you switch between the 2 ports as far as what you send out to a monitor. So you can actually have a monitor.
Probably not. Which one is this?
This is AverMedia Live Gamer Duo.
No, it's the pass-through is for, I believe, the HDMI 1. I have that card.
Oh, okay. So it only does the HDMI 1 as a pass-through, and you cannot select. And that's kind of indicated, I think, by this vertical line right here to indicate that HDMI in 1 and HDMI out 1. Oh, it has a number 1 there. Yeah, so that is confirming that from there, and that just makes sense. Okay, well, I am I done with that? I guess what else is in here? An HDMI cable, 1, and paperwork. None of these, not one of them, looks to me to be a Go Faster sticker. So.
Also, keep in mind that HDMI 2 is locked at 1080p.
Okay, which is fine with me because I don't do anything over 1080p, and I'm not interested in doing anything over 1080p. Even the Fortnite is 1080p.
Yeah, the HDMI 1 will do up to 4K. So will the pass-through.
Yeah, I have no interest in doing that. I mean, and particularly no interest in doing YouTube videos with that or live streams with that, because that just puts more demand on everything. And that extra resolution for this kind of content is just irrelevant. And
oh, yes.
In my perception.
For what you do, yes.
Yeah, including Fortnite. And the frame rates. The gamer community is all up in arms about frame rates. It's just a number that appears on the screen. I can't perceive any, when I change the frame rates, I can't perceive any difference in visual quality for playing the game.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
If you go in 4K, will I be able to read your address a little clearer? Thank you.
No, Ken, because that doesn't change your eyeballs.
Great.
The eyes are different. We all know that. I had the surgery done. I can see like a hawk.
Yeah, actually, I envy you that. I envy you that, because if I take these glasses off, it's difficult for me to read this Amazon order screen in front of me, like here. If I go, I see the delivered June 23rd, and I can barely make out this your package, something left near the front door. Oh, that probably was AverMedia. So that's the difficulty of my vision. Doug, why do you have a Lego car and Funko Pop games ordered? Well, Braden's 10th birthday is June 28th. So I got a bunch of packages yesterday for him. That was 2 of them. Okay, next topic. Look on that chat. There's a
Heck, you're avoiding number 10 on purpose.
Are you serious about number 10 is not actually a topic?
Oh, you made me laugh so hard today so much. This is great.
What? All right, moving on. Let's see. Tim said 11. On Dog, we don't get into too much about computer resources, meaning the use of adding cards and PCI slots, but when you add this card, I would be interested to know if anything was working better and more reliable, because when you put an add-in card in the machine, it is going to take up resources from the North Bridge chip. In modern machines, if I remember correctly, it could be the North Bridge. The old term was the South Ridge on older machines. Anyways, the resource allocation, the machines we all generally purchase have limited resources. Even if they are a $700 motherboard, unless it's a workstation motherboard, sometimes when you put a few cards in the machine, it doesn't behave as expected. Okay, all that sounds a little bit out in space, but mainly we're talking about resource allocation. Okay, that's the end of that thought from Londug. Yeah, that's where it is. So these are happy birthdays to Sean, and then Maryville Maid. Hello there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name. John. I'll almost remember his name. Good afternoon, Doug and crew. Good to see you. Joel? I'm not sure. Then moving on, but another thing that I wanted to say about that, I'm one of the reasons for getting that card was the crashes that Big Beast has experienced. The suspicion that it was because of having these external capture devices plugged in by USB to Big Beast build. I have 2 of those. One of them is to capture Baby Beast. So that's on the back. It's kind of hanging off down the bottom. I used to have it strapped up on the back of Big Beast build, but then I was needing to do something else. So now it's kind of hanging by a wire. And those are really old. And when I first got them, I had to contact the tech support of that company because they were troublesome. So I was thinking, well, maybe that'll solve it. But a side effect of using those is going to reduce the number of cables around here, because for this top rate, I've got 2 video output cables. No, I'm sorry. How am I doing that? No, those are both input for different input types. And then the USB cable, and it's strung across here. So I'm potentially going to have fewer cables. And these are all the HDMI ports. So I'll use probably going to be adapters. So I'll use HDMI cable, obviously, for Baby Beast, just between the 2. Although I think the port that I'm using on the Baby Beast video output is a display port. So I'll get a cable that has a display port on one end and HDMI on the other end, and avoid using an adapter. I prefer to avoid using adapters wherever I can and buy the cable that's right for the job. Then I'll have an HDMI cable coming out here to the desktop with adapters for VGA and DVI display port. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'll make things a little more convenient. Looking for orange.
I'm in my backyard garage where my dad's crane table is and stuff, and I'm using that one bridge that Carrie did a while back.
Yeah.
The little 2 bridges, and you can see my I think some people think I was on crack when I did this wiring job. You can see the squiggly lines, and it goes up over the window, squiggly lines to an 8-port switch over here. And I run that off the bridge, and the other bridge is inside hooked up to the router, and that lets me have internet to all my computers in here. So I can use them because I build them and I repair them, and Yeah. So I had to get a switch out here so I could have more than one source of internet out here. So.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Other topics. Where do we go next? Somebody want to put into chat or Zoom? Call out the next topic. I'm looking through them to see what is shorter to get more topics handled.
Did we do number 8 or did I miss it?
We did not do number 8. So I'll take that as a request. Go bring up my timesheet. I'm really not sure what the quantity is. I think I recall hearing Jim notice what I said, I think on Wednesday about the number of, or maybe it was in chat room, about the number of urgencies that I had.
Yes, I made a comment. I made a comment on Wednesday. I said it's only Wednesday, for crying out loud.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not gonna display these on screen because there's way too much client information here. Let's see. On Monday there was one. Oh, client called me, couldn't connect remotely to her computer, and I had to reset the log me in password for that. I think it was that. Oh, I know what it was. Log me in because she has the parent account, and we have several sub accounts. It requires the parent account. Log me in requires that password gets changed every few months. So that was. Now, if I did a better management of that, I would put myself a calendar item to do that before she calls me down the road, which is kind of a really, really good idea to do. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna mute this. Okay, nobody should have heard that. I asked her to give me a reminder in 2 hours to do that. Then let's see, next one. The next one on Monday was finishing up on, I think I told you already on Saturday probably about a time slips issue for that server that died, that I needed to get time slips up and running on the new interim server. So that was a couple hours on Monday. Then let's see here. This was a non-emergency topic on Monday, so I'm not going to talk about that one. And
Gotta go. I'll see y'all later.
All right, bye. Here's one of an employee not receiving receipts for when she sends emails. She's expecting receive receipts and open receipts back from them. That's something she regularly does, and she wasn't getting those. That I don't consider urgent or emergency. That was just a call that came in Monday. Then, on Tuesday, a client called that his computer won't start up. It's just goes through messages about trying to repair and it fails and just won't start up. Let's see, too, regarding the start computer. And I walked him through going into advanced troubleshooting and using restore points to restore to, and it said there were no restore points available.
Oh, God.
And I think what was happening on that one, let's see, do I know he went, I wound up getting that computer back up and functional for him, and he went on vacation. And that's rather than going further to fix that computer, he's getting this mini computer. So when he comes back from vacation, it'll be in place and ready. But I think that that computer I already had configured to do system restore points, but some Windows updates, I'm not sure how and when this happens. Maybe somebody else knows the answer to this. Some Windows updates wipe out all the previous restore points, I think. So does anyone confirm or deny that? I think then you could uninstall the update, and that would be the way to roll back. But I didn't want to go through that over the phone with him. He was able to do other work. So that was 8:40 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. on the phone, and then at 10:24 a.m., so just 30 minutes later, I'm out at his office picking up the computer for lab work. And then I have a time slip for the lab work that I did during that time, and what it says that I began image backup of the current drive status, upgraded his RAM from 6 gigabyte to 16 gigabyte, because possibly that was causing a problem for his Windows updates and the whole recovery failure. And then I performed an operating system repair, letting Windows to do its repair, and then it came up. Then it was successful. So adding the memory seemed to get it over its freak out. Then performs Windows updates. Same problem symptom occurred after installing Windows updates. And I ordered replacement computer. I returned the computer to pre-update status. So I just rolled it back, disabled updates for the maximum of 5 weeks, and took the computer back to him. So did not fix it due to determining it's not worth fixing on that computer. So just got him up and running, and until we get him a replacement computer. And in that case, since I just put that extra memory in, I'll be taking the memory back and not charging him for it. Then so 1:52 p.m. is when I returned the computer to him. So I got it back to him pretty quickly. He could continue on his day. I discussed with the office manager, the decision maker, about replacing the computer, and got authorization. Then on Wednesday, troubleshooting symptom of blue screen, reboot. This was on site. So she called me. She had a blue screen error. I know this person. I was not going to try to talk her through anything. And it's a 5-minute drive to get there. Troubleshoot symptom of blue screen, reboot, repair sequence failing, uninstalled most recent quality update, disabled updates to make computer temporarily usable. We'll discuss replacing computer with business manager, as this symptom will likely continue based on similar experiences with other computers like this one, because this is an older computer, lower equipped computer. It did have an SSD drive in it, and it had, I think I've previously done a memory upgrade on it, but still it's an old generation computer. Now, interesting situation there is I uninstalled, and I remember I talked to you guys about this on Thursday, maybe. I don't know if I did. But when I rolled back the quality update, that got it back to functional. And I went into update settings. I did tell you about this. The update settings screens was all wonky. It was not right. There was no option like this here to pause updates. There was no advanced options. There was something up here that said something went wrong. And what I didn't mention to you, I did tell you that part, but what I did not tell you, because I had forgotten it, was when I went to WinVer, Windows key R, and then type WinVer, what version do you suppose it was at?
1903.
Well, you're on the right point. It was 2004, which, and I went and looked at my records, and I had documentation in my records of that computer being at 22H2. So when I rolled back the last quality update to go back to 2004, which meant at that time it was the fourth quarter of 2020, if I remember right, how they were doing the numbering then. So that was just weird, but I didn't pursue that any further because I wanted to replace the computer. Now, the managing partner there that I need to talk to for that authorization, I was told that he wasn't there then, he would be back tomorrow. Well, then I called him, whatever that tomorrow was Thursday, and I was told he won't be back till Monday. I was contemplating a mini computer, even to the extent that I talked to that user about a mini computer and it being on top of the desk. But since then, I've kind of backpedaled on that a little bit because this office already decided that they want to do all new Dell towers. Well, they approved that a while ago, but then they didn't want to spend the money for it until later. So basically, I mean, we've already done one of those computers. So I will give him the option. I'll tell him what the cost is going to be for another one of the new Dell computers and what the cost would be for a middle-of-the-road mini PC and see what he has to say.
This is a really random question. Since you're planning on replacing all of the computers in that office, are you also going to be replacing all of the switches and or routers or network equipment in any way?
No, the network equipment is in pretty good shape. It's a gigabit. All the components are gigabit throughout. There's absolutely no reason to do 2.5 gigabit in this office. They're doing Microsoft Word documents, email, doing forms online. There's just nothing that is data intensive enough.
It's a lawyer outfit, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't need anything like that.
No. And they've got these computers that you all refer to as dinosaur computers that are, for the most part, work fine for them until one takes a dump like this one did. Now, while I was there, other things came up. They said that person told me that she's having a problem doing EAMS, EAMS, which is some kind of legal forms that they fill out on a government website, that site isn't working anymore. And this is, like I said, internet security, everything has been getting more secure lately. Yes, but government sites don't keep up very well. So this site requires using Microsoft Edge and Internet Explorer mode. And I've gone through a few things with it where it messes up and find the fix for it and implement that fix across their multiple computers. This time the fix was different than previously. And what it was, it needed a Java update and to fix it. And on the website, it says you need to have Java version or JRE. Didn't say Java, it said JRE, which is some form of Java.
Java runtime environment.
Yeah, thank you. And it gave the version number. Well, we were already above that version number. But when I click on the link, it takes me to a newer version. The version that we had was only a few months old. So I installed the newer version and that solved the problem. So that was not an emergency thing, but it was a workflow problem because none of their computers were able to do it. Were able to use this. She didn't know that when she reported to me. She said she couldn't use this. And so then I asked, well, how about anybody else in the office? And she told me, well, somebody else is having a problem. I said, well, is there anybody that it is working for? And she would tell me, well, this other person's having a problem with it. I said, is there anybody that it is working for it? And she would tell me another person that's having a problem with it. I couldn't get, is there anybody that it is working for it? So it took a little bit of teeth pulling to discover, no, it's not working for anybody.
I have a feeling, I don't think if you were standing right there in front of her asking her that same question to her face, I don't think she would have still been able to give you the answer you were looking for.
I was standing there. This was when I was on site fixing her computer. So this was, yeah, this was, oh, by the way, while you're here, we can't do this.
It just goes to prove the end users always don't know won't tell you the truth, all straightforward.
Yeah, and it's not always that that they're avoiding tell me. And I think I've told you this piece, that other law office that had the server crash, their first symptoms, what they were reporting is that on their workstations, their programs were just closing. Microsoft Word would just close. Outlook would just close. Their calendaring program would just close. They did not tell me that these were all closing at the same time. They did not tell me that the other computers in the office were having the same symptom at the same time. So I was going down the wrong path in trying to troubleshoot that. If they were told me that these were all happening at the same time for multiple people, I would have turned my attention to the server right away. And that's where the problem was.
Customers will either not tell you the truth or leave out something.
Yeah.
That's generally the two things that you have to deal with. They either don't realize they need to tell you certain things, or they just flat out make stuff up.
Well, there was another secondary issue at this office, but that wasn't urgent, so I'm going to skip over that one and go on to the next client. This was a chiropractor's office. Called me saying that their iPad was unable to connect to the network, and they use their iPad when bringing new patients in to take a photo of them. So they have a picture of the person when they call for an appointment. This wasn't what I would call an emergency, except that to this person, it's an emergency. I can't do this thing that I need to do. Well, can you get along without it? Well, I can't do this thing that I need to do. Well, do you consider it an emergency? Well, I can't do this thing that I need to do. Well, yeah, they can bring patients in without taking a photo of them, but so you interrupt somebody's workflow and they need to work around something, and a lot of people you don't know how to do that. Well, anyway, let's see, what did I do here?
You get the same thing, by the way, anytime that there's construction on a road, that people have been pretty much on autopilot going back and forth.
Yeah.
Work. As soon as you throw them a curve, it's just like they become completely stupid.
So here my note says troubleshoot iPad failure to connect. And the solution was to restart the Comcast router. The iPad configuration was fine. It was the Wi-Fi that was the issue. And but it was able to connect to the Wi-Fi. It was claiming it was connected to the Wi-Fi, but I still had suspicion that it was something to do with the Wi-Fi. So I just restarted the Comcast router. And then I told her that's what I did. I have where the Comcast router is, and there a bunch of other equipment is, I have one of the power cables labeled with a red tag or something like that. And I have a note taped up on that surface. If there's a problem with the Wi-Fi or with the internet, disconnect the power cable that has the red label on it for 2 minutes and then plug it back in. So she knows how to do that when there's a suspicion that that's what's wrong, but she didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. It would have saved me from going out there. Yeah, let's see. Here's somebody had an email delivery problem. This was on Wednesday. Oh, okay. This is a Microsoft hosted email. They use Outlook, and the solution was to just re-log in to the email server. Let's see, who was this? Oh yeah. Oh, it was on the computer that I went out and it was having a blue screen, and I uninstalled the most recent quality update. It was that computer. Later, she called me, unable to get email, so I connected remotely to her computer and just re-signed into her email. Let's see, this one was somebody wanting help about their changes to their backup strategy. That wasn't urgent. Here's one. They called me security desk in one of the government-assisted rental housing that I've talked about from time to time. Security reports that when they restart the computer, which they restart the computer every night, they're getting a message, impending failure message when they restart the computer regarding the storage.
Impending failure.
Drive. Yeah. That call came. Actually, I don't have the call recorded, but I went out pretty promptly. I mean, that was a very short call. So 3:07 that afternoon, I picked up the computer and brought it in for lab work, did a cleaning of the interior and exterior. Oh, all right. I've told you before, I do not routinely go clean computers. And I'm sticking to that story, but I'll show you what this one looked like. Because it was remarkable. And still functional, except for that message, but there's a reason why that message wasn't all that concerning. And if I'd realized what was going on, I could have fixed it on the spot much quicker. Let's get signed in here to my iCloud photos. Go find that photo because this is just too entertaining. You're gonna, I think. Finding it here. All right, there we go. And it's a dinosaur. So, but it's zippy. This computer, it's a dinosaur, but it is zippy for what they do. What they're doing is they're using a application that I developed in Microsoft Access to sign, when visitors would come, they have to be signed in, they have to have a badge printed, they have to be recorded in this database, and if they are support services for people who need support services, their agency is recorded. This computer starts up, I don't know, 15 seconds, something like that. But so here's what it is. There's the front of the computer. You see a little bit of the dust circumstance there. And then let's see, I got to figure out how many of these that I can punch through. Yeah, so let's get to, we can go.
Was that like a 2010 model computer or something?
I don't know the year, but maybe we'll be able to show that. So here's the next photo, a little bit closer of the dust in the front of the computer. And then next one, let's see, I got a next one. Oh, what was that? Somebody came in.
I turned it down. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. So here's dust inside the computer. You see those dust bunnies?
I got one like that. It's actually 2012. There's several models like that though.
Yeah. So here's more of the motherboard. Start to see a little bit of the heat sink on the right hand side. And then here's this fan. I'll go back to the prior picture. This fan is on the side of the heat sink. And then this was another angle. Then I'm going to take that off the screen for a moment and skip past one photo. Let's see. This was, oh, this picture is after the cleaning. And I did not start with the leaf blower. I started with a vacuum cleaner because that is just too big of dust bunnies to do the leaf blower. But I used the vacuum first and then the leaf blower.
Did you wear a mask?
I did not, but that's because I used the vacuum first. But I kind of hold the leaf blower out at arm's length, and I'm still dressed in my business casual dress when I do that.
On Brian's point about a mask, just because I'm curious, are any of your clients still requiring that you wear a mask while you're in their offices?
None of them are requiring it, but I'm always wearing a mask when I'm in their offices. And my reasoning for that is I don't get sick pay. I cannot handle the idea of going into my clients' offices when I am sick. I don't have any backup. I don't have somebody else to work on their computers if I'm sick. So I am super, super careful and cautious about not getting sick, even to the point that when my daughter told me by text about the plans for Braden's 10th birthday party at a pizza and arcade type place, I said, count me in right away. And then afterwards I realized, ooh, wait a minute. I don't do that anymore. I don't mix in tight public environments anymore. Partly because I don't need to, partly because I really like never being sick. I used to be sick every year around fall. I would get a cold and it would hang on for like 5-6 weeks. And I'd be going to my clients' offices, sneezing and sniffling and blowing my nose and such. I don't think that's okay anymore. So I am ultra careful about not getting sick. Wearing a mask when people, are kind of wondering if they should be uncomfortable around me. So I got 2 more pictures here. Here's the exterior of this computer, shot from an angle that kind of shows off how this computer resides under a desk. What are they splashing on it? There's no, it's not a hard floor that somebody's mopping. It's a carpet floor. And so I cleaned that up, and here's how it looks after the cleanup of the side of the case.
It looks brand new.
It looks pretty decent here, doesn't it? It's kind of has a sheen to it.
Lipstick on a pig.
All right. If you would enable screen share, I would show you a few things.
Sure. You're going to show off your...
Oh, I'm going to show you a CPU cooler that I ran into. This is quite a few years ago, but it was... all
right. It's enabled.
It was a horror show.
What are we looking at?
That's a CPU cooler.
That's a paper dish.
All right. Do I see the fan is stopped?
No, the fan is spinning.
Oh, it's spinning. All right.
Fan is spinning.
So we're seeing the dust and gunk through the spinning fan?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why the CPU was overheating.
What makes it worse is the people smoke around the computer.
Oh, you recognize that, do you? You recognize that type of dust, do you?
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
That's what the fan removed.
I have had maybe 2 occasions where a computer has got performance problems that were wound up partially attributed to overheating and due to being clogged. But most of the computers that I have in my clients' offices are pretty low-end processors, and they just don't suffer that much from overheating. No, and actually, I think the ones that they were overheating not from dust, but because of a CPU fan that simply was not turning. It was totally locked up. And a small handful of laptops that were similarly troubled. Okay, so I got to fix some things on the Zoom because the YouTube is still seeing Jim's fan.
You've got a good leg.
Let's see, how can I...
It's interesting. It's only showing the one picture. And I know I shared a couple of them.
Yeah, I think that's the most recent one that you did. So if I go back to this Zoom meeting and then switch it back again, and that was not the credentials for the Zoom meeting. That was just the meeting ID. Doesn't let crashers come in. Okay, that is fixed.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
I got a couple if you don't mind. If you do, that's fine.
Couple pictures? Sure.
A couple of quick stories for the week.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
If you're talking about old computers, I wasn't there, so this is secondhand. We had our quality people do an audit of one of our suppliers. They had antique computers, as I call them. They were from the 2000s, not even 2010s, on the shop floor. Now, these are labels. These are just saying the parts are being shipped. And one of our guys said, "Why haven't you turned that off?" And of course, the owner of the company's out there says, "No problem," and goes and turns it off. Held up shipping for 2 hours at the company. They couldn't get the parts. They lost like 2 hours worth of scanning stuff. They didn't know it was on 2 semis going out to trailers. Brilliant. But the owner, of course, listened to their IT guy because, Band-Aids. And he was trying to tell our folks that, he cuts the costs to save us money. But it didn't work out well. I mean,
you're not shipping product, you ain't saving anybody money.
Exactly.
Right.
For 2 hours, his fine was going to be 10 times the $1,000 he was saving on a PC. But luckily, those weren't our parts. They were somebody else's. But he had redundancy, understand. What he had is 2 other people trying to get computers to make that work is what he had. And then we had another one. This was ours down south. We had a crane putting in a robot. I hate that word. And they hit one of our beams, actually knocked a beam out, but on that beam was all the Ethernet cables going to the machines. They took the beam and half the cables out. Now, almost every machine in our factory has Ethernet, has some kind of to the server. So if a production number is hit, and boom, goes to the server. We goes to the next, boom, boom, boom. We follow parts. We take inventory of each operation. So that was exciting last weekend and until Tuesday. We were in manual mode. So those are emergencies, though.
Yeah. I've got, I think, a little bit more to do on those service calls. I see back here people are asking number 8. That's what we're on. Then Speedy C says number 9. Then scrolling down to see other oranges. Ida says, interested in knowing how you establish priorities with clients. Is a juggling act sometimes so difficult? I don't have much difficulty with that because I don't have urgent issues come up very much. So very rare that I'm having to have a client stand down or wait for me to do something these days. Used to be back when I was working crazy busy, where I would have to tell somebody, hey, I'm working with Office that's down right now. It's going to be a little delay before I can get there. But usually people were okay with that. All right, so I'm just looking for oranges. So it looks like I'm going to call that caught up with chat. And then I'll come back here to put Zoom on screen and see what else is on the list. Oh, what I wound up doing with that computer, I need to tell you about. Yeah, when I got that computer cleaned up and into the lab, figured out what's going on, I opened it up and discovered there's already an SSD drive in it, and there's a spinning hard drive in it. The SSD is a 120 gigabyte SSD. So it's probably one that I put in a long time ago. So what I did is I disconnected the 1 terabyte. Let's see, no, the spinning drive. I don't think it was a 1 terabyte. Where I think it's around here somewhere. Yeah, here. It's 2 terabytes. A 2 terabyte spinning drive. So I just disconnected and turned the computer on. It came right up. So that imminent drive failure was on this drive, which I suspect was probably configured as a backup drive, but I still haven't looked to see what's on it, because when I disconnected it, boom, the computer is functional. However, it's 120 gigabyte older SSD, so I just went ahead and replaced it with a 1 terabyte SSD because I want to be doing backups of the computer. So I put in I did a clone from this what did I say? Yeah, it's 120 gigabyte SSD. I cloned it.
That's awful small these days.
Oh yeah, it is. So I cloned it to 1 terabyte, and I did not select for Macrium Reflect to automatically use all the space, because I only wanted the boot partition to be maybe 200 or 300 gigabytes and use the rest of the space for backups. So the second partition is now configured to receive backups. Hey, Doug, that's not really a backup, is it? Because what happens to the whole drive? Yeah, you're right about it, but this computer is fairly simple. They only use the Access program that I created, and they use the Microsoft 365 suite and nothing else. So if I had to rebuild this computer from scratch, it'd be no big deal. But what more commonly happens is something gets messed up about the Access program, and I need to restore. So having that on a second partition as a backup is a really convenient way for me to restore something that got messed up. That's usually the type of thing that I'm recovering from. And if we're doing a backup to an external drive that's connected by USB, that is troublesome and problematic, because sometimes it's the power strip it's plugged into gets turned off, or the power cable gets disconnected, or the power switch on the external drive gets disconnected, or Windows has just for some reason decided it's no longer there. And so the backups aren't working. But if it's backing up to a second partition on the drive that it's booting from, it's just way more stable and consistent, and it works. If I have a second drive in there, I'll do the backups to the second drive. And if I have a convenient way to configure that, I'll prefer to have it on a separate internally connected drive. But I have no hesitation to storing backups on a second partition on the drive that it's booting from, if it is reasonable to rebuild that computer from scratch. So it's just a matter of choosing which way to go, and I choose which way to go based upon circumstances.
I'm sorry, 120 gigabyte is like, at the rate it's going, that's only enough room for the operating system itself at the rate we're going.
Oh yeah, there's no room there to cut that in half and have a partition for backups. Not at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I
think I told you the story of the one laptop we had. It had 128 gigabit SSD in it, and it was choking. It was blue screening. It was doing this. It was doing that. First of all, the version of Windows on it was at least 3 years old. Windows 10 was at least 3 years old. And there was one game installed on the drive. I don't remember if it was Fortnite or if it was Minecraft. I don't remember. There was one game stored on the drive. And the reason they were having trouble is the thing was trying to do Windows updates on free space of 48 megabytes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This drive had less than 50 gigabytes in use. So there was plenty of room for on the 120 gigabytes, but they're so cheap, it's just not worth doing, and this one was clearly it's got to be very somewhat old. And what I basically my practice is if the C drive on a computer is below 100 gigabytes, preferably below 80 gigabytes in use, then I want to have 512 gigabytes on that partition. If I got a 1 terabyte drive in there, then I'll do the rest of it for storing backups. But I would prefer for 512 gigabytes that the space in use be less than 100 gigabytes. So there's just plenty of space available for the SSD to do its trim functions and so on, and then just never going to be problems with space for available for Windows updates and so on. I do recollect sometime in the past few months I did have a 512 gigabyte drive in a computer that I was connected remotely to. It had a small operating system, well under 100 gigabytes, and I did split that one in half and put backups on the second partition. But that was because I didn't have reasonably convenient access to install another drive on that computer, and I wanted it to be having backups in case there was a problem with the operating system or something that is on their C drive. But that is not what I would prefer to have configured. Let's see, so I removed both prior drives and reconfigured backups and created a first backup, and I redelivered that computer that evening. Oh, looks like I forgot to put in a time slip for delivering that computer. Need another reminder. I'm going to mute the microphone here for a moment. All right. I do not trust my memory. I do not trust writing notes. I use timers on devices. When I started doing that, the thing was that back in the day when I was so massively busy, I would keep all of my things that I need to do in my head, and it was just I was pretty effective at it, but I needed to give my mind a chance to relax. So I started creating myself reminders, setting up timed emails to send to myself. And it just allowed me to dismiss all of that from my active memory. Let's see, that was, okay, we've done all of the urgent stuff for this week.
Speaking of backups, Doug,
yeah,
when I tried to do a couple of weeks ago, or I tried to do a backup of my mom's computer using Mac and Reflect, and when I first tried to do it, it would not do a backup. Mac and Reflect errored out, and I googled the error code that it gave me and looked at the form, and they said run check disk, and after it ran check disk, it blue screened a few times, but when I rebooted it and tried to run the backup again, it worked.
I have experienced that too. I didn't remember it until you started talking about it.
Hey, Doug, I have a quick Amazon question. I'll let Alex finish.
I was just going to say, and then after I finished the backup, I went back and ran check disk again, and it worked that time without blue screening. So it apparently had some problem in the disk file system.
Sounds like it. Gary.
Yeah, quick question. We use a ton of Amazon at home and work, personal people at work. Anyway, quick question. We use Kohl's for taking it back. Whole Foods #2. I don't like I like Whole Foods, so I don't mess with their people. Anyway, take two things back. they give us one UR, what do they call them, UR barcode, and I know barcodes by heart, and it doesn't tell, or actually just regular barcode, doesn't tell you what's on it. So you got the thing saying, hey, look, we sent your stuff back. And you go, Amazon, we had 4 things win back at one time. It was a month's worth of stuff. They only gave us credit for 3 of them. And we're fighting with them. They said, well, you got your barcode. It says it's a barcode. Do you got, when you take something back with Amazon, do you get a list of items or just a barcode? And I'm assuming you get the barcode also.
When I return something to Amazon, they send me an email. There's a barcode on that. I take the item to the UPS store. They scan it. They take the item over the counter. I have no idea what the barcode includes, whether, and I don't observe anything from the person on the counter that is them verifying the item I'm giving them is what Amazon is expecting to receive.
How, when you go home, let's say, in your hand, how do you know how many items? Let's say you have your neighbor do it for you. You know, he drops it off. How many items do you know he dropped off from a receipt, or do you?
No,
I don't think you do. That's what I'm asking.
I don't. They put this sticker on a piece of paper, and this sticker, when I look at it, doesn't give me anything that identifies, that I can recognize that it is the item I was intending to return.
Right.
I just get a piece of paper that's saying that I gave them something.
I sent 4 SSD drives because I bought 4 new ones within the 30 days. Fine, everything's cool. They got 3, and they said, "Look, your UPC," and I'm like, "It's a UPC. It says nothing."
Right. It gives no identification. So yes, I agree with you. I would like for the person behind the counter to be giving me a piece of paper that somehow identifies what it is I would give them. Ideally, what I'd like to see, if I had my wish list, they would scan what's the barcode on my cell phone, and they would, with their equipment, take a picture of what I'm giving them, and then they would print out this label that includes a text description and the photo of what I gave them to be shipped.
Well, in Michigan area, we had a semi-threat from government and whatnot because they stopped taking pictures. Amazon got real lax for a while. And then in the middle neighborhoods, they're not taking pictures right now. Low neighborhoods are taking pictures, and upper middle class are taking pictures. But the guys just stopped taking the pictures, you know, the Amazon guys. And of course, never happened. So.
Well, they're still taking pictures when they deliver something here.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a neighborhood thing, but a lot of people are getting packages, and it's like, show me the picture. Oh, you don't have one.
All right.
We got a lot of porch pirates around here.
Here I've got an orange from Zvi Minor. Hi, does the PC with the Access app connect to the internet? And if yes, why? It does connect to the internet, and the reason for that is the computer is configured with OneDrive, so that it all of its documents and such are synchronized with its OneDrive account, and the security manager has access to that OneDrive account from the computer at his desk, so that he can check the reports that are performed by the security personnel during the whole 24/7 operating period. They do not, those staff, I don't think, do anything on the internet as far as web browsing as part of their job. I don't know if they're allowed to web browse. The Windows account that they are logged in with is a standard user, not a admin user, so they cannot install any software. And in some occasions, when like trying to do a system restore, they wouldn't be able to do it because it requires the admin credentials, and I will not give them those admin credentials over the phone. I do sometimes connect remotely to their standard user logged in account, and I will make some configuration changes that comes up with a prompt for entering an admin password. And I will enter that while connected remotely because they can't see what I'm entering. They can't observe what I'm entering. Does the PC with Access app connect to the internet? If yes, why? I think I've answered everything needed there.
If I'm not mistaken, Doug, the user account control box that comes up when it asks you to enter your password when you're connected remotely has a little eyeball next to the right-hand side of the field. So they could, if they were inclined, and they could click on that eyeball and see what the password is.
But I would see them do it because I'm connected remotely doing that. So I would see them do that. They can't do that without me knowing, and then they're in trouble. So that doesn't happen. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. I don't see any other orange. There's a lot of other comments there. I'm not going to read through them because it just takes too long. If you want me to see something or read it, hit me in orange, or if you must insist, do one of these emojis. Except I haven't been looking at them. Well, it seems like a lot of these are done not trying to get my attention. I will go back and read through after the show is over. It's 1:26, so we're kind of long already, almost 2.5 hours. I don't see anyone really insisting that I do another one of the topics. I did see somebody asking for the next topic, advanced software techniques for my clients. Somebody did ask for that. That justifies more time than we have today, but that is a significant part of the value that I provide to my clients. And I was kind of thinking of it recently. I do a lot of things with my clients' computers to make the computers more useful to them, or like I'm in, well, the Access program that I created, the Excel spreadsheet that I created. I was thinking I could change the client specific information in there, which is the identity of the partners and the specific percentages and the identities, their entity names. It'd be fairly easy for me to change those and then change the numbers on the spreadsheet so it's completely anonymized and show what that does for them, because I think that kind of stuff is kind of significant. My support for my clients is far beyond Windows, functional Windows computers. And this is the fun stuff, making the computers make their jobs easier and resolve their pain points about their workflow, what they actually do. That stuff that's fun in my mind. And it's stuff that I haven't talked about on this channel. And that's stuff that Kerry doesn't talk about. I don't know if he does that type of work for my clients. I manage my clients' phone systems and their copiers. I extend beyond just computer work for my clients, and that's something we haven't talked about much. But I think it's interesting, so that's why I put that one in there. But I think I think there may have been a few requests for that, but we're not going to go into that now because we don't have.
Well, just a question on that, Doug. Now,
yeah.
Let's say one of your followers buys a Macintosh.
Yeah.
Are you going to start supporting Macintosh questions on your channel?
Maybe a little bit.
Really?
Maybe a little bit, because I do support some of my clients on Mac computers. I'm trying to think right now, who do I have currently with them? I had one law office that onboarded with me, and they had all Mac computers. It's all they had. And they came to me being referred from another client. And they were unsatisfied with their current computer support, which was a fairly large computer support company in our area. And I went and talked with them, solved a couple issues for them, and they also had a phone service problem. I solved that issue for them. And so then they were fully on board with me. But I explained to them, I'm not a Mac expert, but they trusted their referral source very much. And I described to them what I would do for them and how I would handle charges for them. At what point would I soften the charge when I spend extra time trying to solve the problem, which was really kind of restrictive, meaning they were possibly going to be paying for me trying to understand how to do something. I told them about some of my experiences in the past, and I wasn't trying to sell them on using me. I was kind of trying to sell them off of using me or convince them not to use me. They wound up using me.
Would you really consider yourself a Windows expert?
Well, I would hedge that a little bit, saying I'm 30 some odd years experience. Yeah, and this has been how I earned my living all this time, but there's a lot of things I don't know. And it's a very, very complex field. And if I'm talking to an attorney or CPA, they're the easiest ones to make the case for is, are you an expert on all different forms of CPAs who deal mostly with personal taxes and small taxes? They'd be totally lost with a nonprofit business or a government entity, or because there are minor government entities that have to do tax forms, corporates and partnerships and limited liability companies. Those are all specialty fields. And the same thing with law officers, there's specialty fields. And within medical practices, there are specialty fields. Can anybody be a fully comprehensive Windows expert? No. In my opinion, no. In my typical clientele, which is small business, I feel very comfortable and confident with. Oh, hush up.
He's like Scotty. He's a miracle worker.
I'm very reluctant to make claims about myself in terms of expertise. So it depends upon who I'm talking to. Have I answered your question?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. And I'm very open to being corrected. And in fact, you guys have seen me ready to stand corrected with when something, you give me a piece of information that contradicts something that I just said. But I've had that happen with clients too. And I have no level of embarrassment with that at all. I craft my relationships with them that they know where I'm coming from, what I'm bringing to the table, and that I don't have the right answer right away every time.
I don't think anybody knows everything.
But but the problem is sometimes they don't know that, or they don't acknowledge that. Although I don't know if I've come across that very often. Okay, so let's see. There's some more orange here. Alice says, I like Apple products, and I would not diss you over that at all. Well, I have iPhone and iWatch. I'm not much of a fan of Android products, but it's just because what I got accustomed to. Oops, I don't even have that on screen. I thought I punched the button to bring that on screen. That was Alice's comment. And the next orange, John Aloy. That is what makes computers so fun. There's always something. Oh man, that is the most underrated statement ever. I would be so insanely bored out of my mind if I was working in a field where I had full understanding of everything that I did. I love that almost every day I come across something that I don't know, and at least a couple times a week I come across something I've never seen before, maybe more often than that. And I don't find that at all intimidating. I have told you in the past that I don't soften my charges for the amount of time that I spend on something, except when I decide to go dig deeper on it, unreasonably so. There may be some exceptions to that. That's not a hard and fast rule, but for the most part, if I'm, and earlier in my career and to somebody else starting out, I would say that should not be your approach. If you don't have substantial number of years under your belt with finding the answers to things you don't know. I'm not saying number of years of experience so that you know all the answers, but being skilled at being able to quickly find the answer. That is a skill that's built over time. And if you're not there yet, you should be softening your charges or setting your charges at a lower rate to accommodate for that. So yes, John Alloy, totally. Good comment there. No other oranges there. Too much for me to read through at this level of diminished energy. Is there anybody in Zoom I haven't said a hello to? No. All right. So I think we'll call that a wrap. Now I'll ask you all to say goodbye to the audience, please.
Say goodbye to the audience.
Good night, Gracie.
Bye to the audience, please.
And
thanks, Doug.
Yep, you're welcome. Goodbye. There's the email address if you'd like to send an email with a question. Now, as you know, here you go. Thanks to Brian. I'll include this qualification. Realize that I like to show your emails on screen. I will, if I need to make adjustments to cover your email address, I'm able to do that. Please don't include any other private information. You can include your original question. If you want to send me additional private information, do that in a separate email and say, please don't reveal this. And that makes it very clear and easy for me, because I'll read your email one day, and then I'm going to use your email on a show, and a following day may not be the next day, and I may have forgotten that there's some private content there, even if I even noticed it to begin with. So there we go. I don't even recall if I have anything set up for a redirect. I guess you'll find out, as will I. All right, goodbye.